You're listening to Tech Gumbo on Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Baton Rouge's local talk and information leader.
That's right. I'm Haggai Davis along with James Moak.
Yes, sir. We're here. Was that the theme from like CSI or one of those?
One of the Who's.
Something like that. It's one of those because we're getting ready to talk about some stuff here regarding FBI and ransomware and stuff. So I'm like, that's kind of appropriate.
And for those of you who are just now tuning in, we're with Gulf South Technology Solutions. You can reach us on the phone
At 225-216-2169
or on the web
at gulfsouthtech.com.
We're here to take care of all your business, computer, network, and IT needs. At Gulf South Tech, we'll give you the right solution, right response
right now.
And so let's get into some of the things that we can help somebody with, with their computer networks and their businesses. And right now, one of the worst offenders, the biggest problems that we're seeing out there is ransomware and malware.
Yeah, and the ransomware has been around. I think our first experience with it was maybe last summer. And here recently in the last 4 or 5 months, it's really gotten bad. And the problems that we're seeing a little bit with it is that the guys that are doing it or putting it out there are getting better at disguising it.
They really are. And most of the ransomware is coming from 3 places. It's coming from Russia, Romania, and China. And so, these folks are very devious, very clever, and, they have all the time in the world. They don't work on an 8 to 5 shift kind of thing. Right. They create their apps, and they push them out there. And so you get these emails, and, they buy these lists, and they've got millions and millions of email addresses on their list that they're buying, and they just start pushing out emails. And so you might get an email from American Express, for an example, and it looks just like a real American Express email. And it'll say something to the effect of, you haven't changed your password in the past 90 days or 6 months. Click here to reset your password.
Yep. And whenever you do, it takes you to somewhere you definitely don't want to be. And when it does, first off, you may give them your password, which is a bad thing because now they have, your username and password for your Amex account, which is bad in itself. But you may inadvertently, it may download some software behind the scenes that you don't see, and that's the payload, as we call it, that installs on your computer and then encrypts all of your data. And so with ransomware, that's kind of how it starts. Is they have that software. It goes in behind the scenes and it either encrypts your local computer or it encrypts your all the files on your server on your network. And whenever it's finished encrypting, they leave a little message on there and it says, "Hey, your data has been encrypted or your computer has been encrypted. Here's what we want for ransom." And it tells you how to pay the ransom, and it's paid in what they call bitcoins, which is another interesting topic we'll have to talk about one day.
Yeah, it's a digital currency. They won't take your American Express, and they won't take your Visa, and they don't take cash.
No, when you have to actually buy the bitcoins with cash, and you're giving this cash to people that you don't even know to buy the bitcoins, and then you give the bitcoins to the bad guys. So I think it's like 2-layer bad guys here that we're dealing with.
And these bad guys, you're not communicating directly with their server. They're usually bouncing their information through 4, 5, 6, as many as 10 different servers in 10 different countries to kind of break the cycle of how you can trace them back. And if something ever happens to any one of the connections on those servers after you've hit submit, sending that Bitcoin, you may or may not you won't get your money back, but you may not get your data back either.
Right, that's right. And so this has been going on for several years. It's just really gotten very prominent here lately, and the federal government's gotten involved on an occasion or two. And what ended up happening was they, destroyed some of the servers that actually held the keys, the decryption keys, and a lot of people that had encrypted data were just stuck. And we have, all of our clients have backups, on their networks. But the problem is that depending on the type of ransomware, there's various, types of it out there or different names and things, but
levels of sophistication.
Yeah, exactly. And different names for it, but it'll actually encrypt those backups as well. And so then we don't have anything to restore from if the backups are encrypted too.
Especially if the backups are just stored there locally.
Correct. Yeah. If we don't have, if you don't have off-site backup, on-site, off-site backup, capabilities, you don't have that service, then your options are very limited. And we've even seen where, in fact, we had some guys in the office last week that shared with us that there was a company that they knew of that spent $40,000 in ransom. And, our clients that have been affected with it ranged anywhere from about $800 all the way up to about $2,800. And there's no negotiating with these guys.
No.
And
the other problem is after you've paid the ransom, then it's still service hours that when we're out there, we're not all that altruistic. I mean, right. We're a business, and so there is services that you're going to have to pay for. So you catch one of these ransoms, and to your network, it's expensive.
Right. It's our time there, and you're down. So you can't service your customers during the time that we're restoring the data, or if we're reloading computers that got encrypted that we weren't able to get the keys for, or the keys they gave us didn't work, or what have you. You have no recourse against these guys, and so you have our like I said, our time there, and then we've seen where it takes sometimes a couple of days to restore all the data, depending on how much you have to or to decrypt it or restore it in some cases.
So what's the best way to help protect a business?
Yeah, it's a multi-pronged approach, if you will. I mean, we from the firewall at the edge of the network to educating your users. So if I get an email and it says in my inbox, it says it's from Haggai Davis, and I open it, and then you can see Haggai's name up there, but if you look right below his name or to the side of his name, it'll actually show the email address that's associated with it. And if it's not hdavis@gulfsouthtech.com or any of the other email addresses that I know he has, then I don't want to open anything attached to it for sure.
You have to pay attention.
Yep.
When you get these emails, because even if it looks like if that attachment could be a PDF, a simple PDF that, PDFs are safe. No, they're not. Any attachment now can have a payload in it that will come and just destroy your day-to-day operations of your server and or your computer network.
And those emails you spoke of earlier, like from American Express, I've seen them from PayPal. And so anytime you get an email from especially a service that you use, you definitely want to look at it. And what you're looking for is if it says click here, and here's going to be blue and underlined, you can move your mouse, you can hover over that blue underlined link, and it'll tell you where it's going to take you if you click it.
Right.
And if it's not taking you to PayPal.com or to AmericanExpress.com or something that you recognize, then just delete it. And Haggai and I were talking about this before, like American Express. I mean, I've had my same password for 11 years now, and he's had his even longer. So we know that they won't contact us via email to change our password.
And I've gotten to the point where when American Express or Visa or whoever or any one of the services, when they send me an email saying, hey, you need to go back to our site, fine. I delete that email immediately and then go to the site and log in directly into the site. If when I get to the site, American Express says, hey, you need to change your password, then now I know American Express wants me to change their password. We had somebody got hacked last week. Oh, go to my PC got hacked. And I get this email and said, you have to change your passwords. And I was like, that sounds a little suspect. So I immediately deleted the email, went to go to my PC. That's how I take care of my mom's computer.
Home network administrator.
Yes,
that's right.
So I go to my PC, and there it is. Because we've been hacked, you got to change your passwords. And so I had to go through a whole process of changing passwords, but I knew at that point it was legitimate because I went to their site to do it. I didn't just click on something on the email.
That's a really good point.
And so be careful when you're out there surfing, when you're getting emails. It's not the old, here's the pictures on the blue Danube with attachments and got, the nasties inside it. It's everything. Everything can be a problem, so you have to be very, very careful of what you open. You definitely want to get a business-grade firewall. If you bought something from one of the big box retailers that you would also use at your house, that's not going to protect your business. If you want to give us a call, we will help you in your business get a true firewall that will protect you and give you more protection than what you're currently using now. So that's a little bit about what's been going on with the ransomware and malware. When we get back, we're going to talk about some data security tips when you're traveling. This is Tech Gumbo here on Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Baton Rouge's local talk and information leader. I'm Haggai Davis, along with James Moak from Gulf South Technology Solutions.